Yes, well, welcome to the Contrarian panel, where we take a look at ourselves in a little different light so that we can become more effective at whatever we choose to do. And so we start with a question and a little exercise for each of you to participate in. And so the question today, well, before I do, let me introduce our panel, our esteemed panel here. Jim Canada with Alliance Technologies, Bill Purnett, Simply Successful, and Judy Ryan, LifeWork Systems. So sorry about that, yeah. So here's your assignment today. I want you to pair up with somebody and answer this question. When things are going off the rails, whether you're doing a presentation, you're in a sales call, you're dealing with your teenager, when things are going off the rails for you, what's the one thing that you can count on to bail you out of that situation? What's the one thing that always works for you? So share that with your partner, and we're going to give you 2 minutes to do that. You'll each have a minute. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Steve is going to run around with the microphone, but true Contrarian fashion, we're not going to start with the panel. We're going to start with you, okay? So here's what I would like you to do. Raise your hand and tell us what you learned about how to deal with difficult situations from the person that was your partner, okay? Lori?
Oh, so what I learned was we're very similar, and we both approach it as trying to look at the positive of any situation.
Okay, so you look at it from a positive angle. Good.
Yeah, so we talked about the idea that if something is going off the rails, a presentation or whatever, that you can think about other things that have been maybe really bad that have happened. So, well, even if this goes bad, it's nothing compared to some of the worst things that could potentially happen.
Yeah. So it's not going to kill me. It's okay, right? All right.
I had two partners, and they discussed how they get centered, breathe deeply, refocus, and meditate regularly.
Okay, great. Meditation's a good tool.
We both try to implement humor wherever we can.
Wow, that's good, yeah. In stressful situations, humor always works well. Any others up here?
Oh, one of my partners told me is that have an exit strategy. Yeah, that's always good.
James taught me, this was very good, I thought, is if you're at a presentation and you kind of derail there, to just ask a random question, giving you time to get your thoughts back together.
Okay, great. Yeah. Others? Any others? Okay, well, I'm going to let our panelists tell us then what their strategy is, what works for them. Judy, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, I kind of piggyback off of what's back there. If I'm really emotional and reactive, I just hear in my head, slow down and take a breath. Because I know even just a couple breaths, I can center. But if I'm centered and it's still problematic, a situation, I go to my purpose and my values. Because those are always reminding me of what I want to cause at the highest level. And that helps me have like an upward look instead of like down in the problems.
My next? Okay, yeah. So what I try to do is to get the emotion out of the situation as quickly as I can. How I do that is I put it in perspective, and to what Steve said, I compare this to other things that have happened in my life, and typically it's pretty trivial compared to the other things, so it puts things in perspective. And then I was introduced not too long ago to a thing called the Oz Principles, which is a see it, own it, solve it, do it system. And so first thing I want to do then after I get the emotion out of it is to make sure I see the problem, because frequently we get acting on the problem before we see it. So I try to see it, own it, and then act on it after I actually understand what's going on.
Well, thanks, Bill. We also talked up here, and we all had 3 different answers, which I thought was very good, and we all aligned with something each one of you said. I happen to align with David, so I use my quick wit and my sense of humor Anybody that knows me knows that I can find fun in whatever I'm doing and bring out that spirit. So I can correct myself by having a comment or my sense of humor to get back on track with what I'm doing, or I'll make fun of myself and draw in the rest of the crowd. So after 30 years in the corporate world, I'm just enjoying life and being able to use my sense of humor to get through every day.
And I have the similar approach to Coletta here. Yeah, I was doing a presentation. If you can imagine a former CPA trying to do drama, I tried to do drama in a presentation. And about 20 minutes into it, somebody in the back row dropped something, and 4 people bent over to pick it up, and I lost my train of thought, and I kept talking, and I was looking at the audience's faces, and one thing I can always do is talk, but I was looking at the audience faces and going, where's he going with this? So finally I latched on something that I was prepared to do, and I got into it, and I realized it was near the end of the presentation, and I take a quick glance at my watch, and I still have 25 minutes to go. So I reverted to questions, how would you apply this, and fulfilled the rest of the time just off the questioning process. So yeah, that works real well for me. All right, well, thank you all very much. Hopefully you got some insights that'll help you. Very good. Thank you.